so they'll be able to hear. Cool. All right. Thanks, everyone, for being here. We're going to go right into questions. If you have a question, feel free to just ask. For the people on Zoom, if you have a question, message the chat, and Liam, our moderator, will raise his hand if we have anything come in from the Zoom chat. So, thanks, Liam. Questions?
What do you feel like the mentality of the team is going into this weekend and the weekend they just had coming off it and the season as a whole?
I like our mentality a lot. I think our team is excited. They're relaxed. I think they have a good idea of what's in front of them. I think the last, especially 3 or 4 weeks of the year, we've experienced a lot of different game moments, that have put them under a tremendous amount of pressure, and we've learned a lot from those moments, and we're ready to go.
How important are those close games that you just won going into higher stakes in the next 2 weekends, potentially?
I think it's huge. I think at this time of year, one base matters. Extending an inning really matters, and I think our team understands all the different ways that we can generate some offensive pressure. They understand and have some confidence in coming from behind. So they understand the momentum of the game, and that's what we're most excited about.
How much did the experience from last year, do you think, help right now and where you guys are at right now?
Oh, I think it's huge. In terms of like what they're packing right now, all the little things of how this works and preparing to go on the road for a super and hopefully move on from there. So it's a lot of fun. We have a lot of veterans on our team. They're really enjoying the ride, and we're fortunate that they haven't gotten sappy. They're really hungry for more, so that's been a lot of fun.
What has been the focus this week as far as preparation? Because when you get to this point in the season, you guys know who you are as a team, and then now you're getting ready to face Alabama. What has been your main focus this week as you prepare?
This team, they're very much focused on preparing and really understanding what the other team is going to throw at them. So we've done a lot of classroom work in terms of really getting ourselves familiar with Alabama and understanding the venue that we're about to go into too, as well. I think that's a big piece of it. But really it's about recovering from the weekend, getting back in the weight room, continuing to build our physicality. But really the softball piece is what it is at this point. It's about just doing some small refinements and just having them get ready mentally.
Yeah, you mentioned all the veterans, but what does it mean to have like a first-year player like Kansas step up the way she has?
It's been great. Our first years have brought tremendous enthusiasm, a real joy and love of Northwestern, so they've been really excited to put the uniform on and make an immediate impact. And then on the flip side, our veterans have really taken them under their wing, shown them the ropes and given them a huge amount of support in really key moments. And I think that's what's elevated our play throughout the year. But Kansas and Nader and Bridget, they're fun. They're fun, and they're fun on the field.
Coach, how much does your preparation change with someone like Montana not knowing if she's going to go this weekend? Do you spend less time on her to look at the rest of the staff? Do you have to prepare as you'll see her this weekend? How does that change with her injury?
Well, I think that Montana Fouts is tremendous in terms of the impact she's made on Alabama softball, the impact she's made on the sport, right? And I remember watching her pitch for the first time as a middle schooler, and everybody knew she was going to be really special. We have to prepare for her like she's going to be 100%. She was able to rest last weekend. She's got a great team of medical personnel surrounding her. I mean, we have to assume that she's going to be ready to go in 100%, and that's how we're preparing.
Your pitchers has been so valuable. Danielle just continues to rise to the occasion every single time she takes the mound. What has she meant to you guys, especially this time of year, and being that leader that she is?
So Danielle is a great talent, right? Really, really gifted, and has worked really, really hard at her craft, right? But I think what's made her so special for our program as a pitcher is how consistent she's been, how steady she is in those really, really tight moments, like we saw on Sunday, right? Bases loaded, no outs. A fly ball ties the ball game, and she was able to really control the game at that point and feed our defense the way we needed her to feed our defense. She's just so steady with the game. She's so happy all the time, and that matters. But she's just had a tremendous impact on our program. And I say this all the time, but just I feel so blessed that she's a part of our program.
Eric Loeb has been in the Circle podcast. Does having experience being on the road for Supers last year help this week in preparation?
I think it does for sure, especially with the night games. You know, when we were at Arizona State last year, we played night games, and so we sort of figured out what our routine is all about and how we're going to build our days. So that's number one as a staff. We understand how we want to go about it logistically. But I think for our team, you know, we've played in a lot of really big venues already this year, and I think they'll be prepared for that as well.
Coach, with the way the seeding will work out, with Alabama finishing 4th in the SEC, do you feel a little bit more pressure, not even to just show for Northwestern, for the entire Big Ten, that the Midwest and Big Ten softball is as good as the rest of the nation?
Well, I think when we take the field, we love representing Northwestern. We love representing the Big Ten. And I think our team right now is focused entirely on the game. You know, that will certainly motivate us to represent our conference, but it's all about the game. It's all about how we're going to match up with our opponent and how we're going to execute.
Another Zoom question, this one from Ethan Siegel. Can you talk about the difference in how you preparing for 3 opponents last weekend or just 1 team this weekend?
Yeah, obviously simple, right? You have 1 opponent. But a 3-game series is a series about, you know, how you're gonna attack them initially, how you're gonna make adjustments, the anticipation of what they're gonna do and how they're gonna make their counter moves. So it's a lot of fun. It's very similar, obviously, to a Big Ten series. So our team is prepared for that, and we'll be good to go. As will Alabama. You know, a very similar situation with the SEC as well.
Another one from Zoom, Eric Lopez, in the Circle Podcast again. What stands out about Alabama and being opposite dugout from Patrick Murphy?
Well, I mean, he's a Hall of Famer coach, right? He's done tremendous things for softball at Alabama and across the country. Great ambassador of our sport, for sure, and a friend. So I think that in terms of us preparing, it's about what our matchup's going to be and how we're going to try to neutralize some of their offensive weapons. We need to play good defense. You know, that's been a key for us. We'll have all of our pitchers ready to go so we can show them a bunch of different looks. But really, it's about us continuing to focus on what we believe we're good at and how we've approached this year, which is just focusing on ourselves and how we can play really good softball.
What's it like to share this kind of May spotlight of the tournament with the lacrosse team and being here? Like, it's fun for us to be here and be able to cover both of these, but to have these women shining right now, what is that like?
Well, it's great. I remember the first time we really experienced this was in '06, the first time they won the national championship, and then we played in the national championship game. So ever since then, it's kind of like you get to this time of year, and we're just kind of like, okay, let's go, let's do this together. So it's great support. I think it's great momentum on campus. I think it's sort of baked into the culture of what we're working to do in May. So I think it's a big boost, and it's a lot of fun. It's fun to cheer them on.
Another Zoom question from Ethan Siegel. Players like Ayanna Lindsay, Lauren Sikorsky, and Bridget Donahue, and other players who may not be in the everyday starting lineup, what goes into the process of keeping them prepared for when they're called upon?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we have several players on our team who have worked really, really hard and have been absolutely ready when their number's been called. So I looked out my window yesterday and I see, you know, Kansas and Bridget and Nito taking extra ground balls. So Bridget typically will take an extra 50 to 60 ground ball reps every day outside of practice, just to continue to be ready for numbers called and also to build her skill set for the future. So, you know, those are the players who, you know, don't get a lot of attention in the media, but I'll tell you, in our dugout, they are so well respected. And I think that's what's really built this team into what it is a really unselfish, real team.
Any other questions? Thanks, Kate.
Okay, thanks for being here. Go Cats.